Hello, I'm Debbie Bell of Finextra.com and I'm joined by David Yates, the CEO of VocaLink, and we're talking regulations and developments in the payments industry. So the banking and payment sector, they are trying to meet the demands of the new regulations and the demands set on them by the governments. In your own words, what are these new challenges?
Well, Debbie, ever since the financial crisis came along, I think the regulators have had their sights set on several different topics. Most important is trying to reduce the risk endemic in banking and in payment systems in particular. Secondly would be about interchange and transparency of the payment networks. And the final subject were really about being the provision of open access to anybody in the industry who wishes to participate.
So access is important. What do you mean by access?
Well, access is very important because from the regulator's perspective, they want to make sure that not only the banks, but consumers, merchants, billers, everybody who's trying to provide a service for which money has to be paid can easily get access to well-priced, good value services.
So in your opinion, how do you think the payments industry is responding to these new challenges?
Well, there are a lot of new players entering the marketplace with ever more comprehensive and complex actually offerings. And up to a point, I think the overwhelming number of new services really demonstrates a vibrancy and a competitive activity. On the other hand, there is an issue associated with that, which is that the consumer is looking at this thinking that this is unbelievably complicated. There's a new service every single day, and each one of them only does one thing at a time. So whilst competitive activity is super, I think what the consumer is now saying is, will somebody please come along and sort this out and make sense of this for me?
So if we were to zone in on just the UK, what is unique to the UK payments industry?
Well, I hope this doesn't come across as self-serving, but the thing that is truly unique about the UK is actually my company, VocaLink, in the sense that it is a UK national grid for payments. So fundamentally, any transactions that move from bank account to bank account move across this network. So that would be in the format of BACS, which people know and love because that's how their salaries are paid, how their bills are paid through direct debits, through faster payments, and the Link ATM network. Because of this, it means that the system touches every consumer, every business, and every government department, and it means that this payment national grid can reach absolutely everybody and can be a basis for sorting out a ubiquitous payment scheme where everybody can participate.
And how do you see that evolving?
I think the way that we would like to see it evolving is that we would like to see that we open up this network so that the consumer can directly access the underlying payment system. So if you're standing there with your mobile phone, that you'll be able to make a payment directly from your account to your friend's account, even if all you know about them is their mobile phone number. You don't need to know their sort code, you don't need to know their bank account number, just that you want to pay your friend and you know their telephone number. Beyond that then, what we'd like to see is that the individual business can then ask a consumer to pay them by the presentment of a payment request, and the consumer simply receives that on their phone and can make a payment regardless of where they are.
A bit like an invoice on your phone.
Invoice on your phone.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anywhere, anytime, doesn't matter who your bank is, doesn't matter who your mobile phone company is, regardless of who you're working with, everybody should have the opportunity to work with everybody else.
When do you see that happening? When do you think that becoming real?
Well, we actually have taken, as an industry in the UK, the very first steps in that regard. So the Payments Council recently decided that they would ask my company, VocaLink, to set up something called a national proxy database. So if I de-jargonize that, what that means is that we connect a phone number to a bank account and that the phone can effectively initiate a payment or respond to a payment request, anybody, anywhere, anytime, regardless of the bank that they're with. So that's a program that's underway.
Now that was launched, wasn't it, your database? Because that made big headlines recently, didn't it?
The plan was announced. The database actually is already developed by VocaLink. It will be populated with consumer details towards third quarter of next year. So the banks have committed to bring consumers into the service and allow people to pay each other from and to mobile phones.
Yes, so it's the UK mobile payments
That's
database
correct.
that we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
So again, thinking about this database, maybe 1 or 2 years on, where do you think it will be?
Am I allowed to say where I'd like it to be?
Yes.
Where I'd like it to be is I'd love to see a widespread consumer adoption so that everybody within the UK who has a phone and also has a bank account has the ability to receive money or to send money from their phone.
So David, I'm determined that you get your crystal ball out, and we're looking now, say, 5 years' time. Will these transactions be that easy within 5 years' time? Are you thinking we can do everyday transactions, say, the front door of your house with your mobile phone?
I'm really hoping so. I hope that in 5 years from now, there'll be no real need to write a check. So things that you'd write a check for today, you should simply be able to authorize instantly on your mobile phone without having to write things down and stick them in the post. Things where you pay for services by cash, we think you should be able to pay for those on your phone directly. So if the plumber comes or the person who's mending something in your house, you can pay them instantly without them having to wait for the funds. We'd like people not to have to worry about paying their bills. We would like them to simply receive their bills on their phones and be able to settle them without delay. And we'd like to make e-commerce a lot easier so that if you want to buy something online, you can do that very simply and straightforwardly. So all of those things we'd like to see done within 5 years from now. And what we would love to see is that they're not just done in the UK, but we'd like to be able to export some of this capability as well.
And that's the next step, I suppose.
That really would be one of the next steps. So we're busy working on a number of projects right now, and we are taking the technology that we've already delivered in the UK, particularly the faster payments technology. So this service which provides immediate bank account to bank account payments, and deploying that in other economies.
So David, as we come to the end of our interview, is there anything you still want to say? Is there anything, a little burning issue as CEO of VocaLink you want to put across?
I think the business of payments is a network business that requires collaboration. And to really succeed, it requires everybody to come together into a truly collaborative effort. You can see this in the cards business with the past successes of Visa and MasterCard. What's going on today within mobile payments is a huge amount of complexity. I really believe it's important for the industry as a whole to gather together and coalesce around something that's of great value to the consumer and great simplicity and elegance. And really, this is a call to action to everybody in the industry to participate in making stuff simple and getting out great solutions.
Great. Thank you, David. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for watching.